Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new session. Today, I'll be answering one query that does Expert AI Terminal on ssv.asia work on both Windows and Mac? So the answer to that is yes. I'll just navigate to my D drive, which is the USB that I have plugged in for Expert AI Terminal. And within this, for Windows, I can simply use the bat file to open up this terminal, or I can also use the dot command file for on the Mac OS systems. These files are also compatible with any kind of terminal application or IDE that you might be using. Right now, I already have it opened up in a window PowerShell terminal. So let's go ahead and start with today's topic, which is that let's learn how we can update Expert AI Terminal with a new AI model. As you might already know that Claude or Anthropic just released Opus 4.8. So it is a quite a new and advanced version of LLM that has been launched by the company. Let's first put it to use on Expert AI Terminal and then we can test its capabilities and functions. But before that, let's go ahead and check the documentation. I have already compiled three links. One is from the official Anthropic or Claude domain, and the others are from Open Router. So let's just go through. Claude Opus is Anthropic's most capable, generally available model to date. It builds on Claude Opus 4.7. This page summarizes everything new at launch, including fast mode, research preview on the Claude API, and a lower 1024 token minimum cacheable prompt length. All right, so I think the prompt length has changed a bit. This is the API model ID. Of course, it will be same like 4.7. It's most capable for complex reasoning, long horizon agentic coding, and high autonomy work. So, of course, by the description, this model sounds perfect for the Expert AI terminal as it could run longer agentic coding tasks and would have an higher autonomy as well. So it supports a 1 million token context window. Again, really good at par with Google models. By default on the Claude API, Amazon Bedrock, Vertex, and 200K on Microsoft Foundry. So I think Claude API is the best provider for this. Adaptive thinking and the same features as Claude Opus 4.6. So all right, great. Mid conversation system accepts messages immediately after refusal, stop details on refusal, refusal, no. High on all surfaces. All right, so these are some general features that I think are better for any kind of LLM updates. So features in efforts, in stopping, in mid conversation messages. So that's great. And I am also interested in the fast mode. This sets the speed to fast, and they say that we get up to 2.5x higher output tokens per second. That sounds great from the same model at premium pricing. All right, so lower prompt cache minimum. Okay, so I think this lower prompt cache might be a way for them to reduce the usage costs. Adaptive thinking looks like a newer feature for this particular model. All right, so I've gone through this. Let's also see the open router pages. Yeah, here you can see it has almost the same text, supports text, images, file inputs with text output, large code bases. Yeah, one thing that Anthropic has been saying since yesterday, or I think 2 days, is that this model is way better for large code bases. You might already know that working on larger code bases of traditional or legacy softwares, that has been a challenge for almost all LLMs. multi-stage debugging. All right, so by the marketing copy, everything looks good. And let's also see the price. Okay, so somewhere I had read that the output was for $50, but this looks like it has been released at the same price of 4.7 and 4.6. Yeah, since 2 days. And what about 4.8 fast? Yeah, so 4.8 fast is $10 per 1 million for input price and 50 for output price. So here you can see that that's actually double the price directly. And of course, more people would be inclined to use the faster model if it promises higher output speeds of up to 2 or 2.5x percent, not percent, x. So the multiplier. All right, that's great. These were just a few discussions I wanted to have. Apart from this, now let's move on to the practical side of this video, which is actually installing, not even installing, just configuring the Opus model within Expert AI Terminal. So I've already prepared this short prompt to get it started. I'll give a very simple breakdown. Of course, if I give a very complicated or detailed specified prompt, it will exactly know what to do and do it for me. But because this is a YouTube video for all of my users and even beginners with who have started using coding agents, I will break down it down even more and make it simpler for everybody. So, firstly, we've asked, can you help me add new AI models from Open Router into this terminal so that next time when I use or do slash reload or slash new, those models appear. Confirm if this is possible by you, then I will give you more details on the model to add. Great. So this looks like a good starting point for the LLM. And here you can see it has already started working. This is what it's thinking. All right, so it did respond, but it actually stopped responding. And the reason for that may be that we are on a free tier. For this kind of a task, because this is a very, very new model, we would definitely require a better model. I have just used the slash new command, just like a typewriter, to skip that particular chat and create a new chat. And here let's first go ahead and choose a better model. See, if I choose something like maybe a older Gemini, it would not know more about agentic coding. So for this, I think Kimmy Latest can be chosen, or even Gemini Pro Latest would work. Let's try with Kimmy Latest now. Again, I'll go ahead and paste this particular command. Because all these models and all these windows have sort of an amnesia that many people have discussed. That is why it's best to approach as if instructing the LLM slowly step by step. All right, it has run a grep bash command to find model config and setting files. All right, this one is still gathering the context. So if I would have said hi, it would have read all the contextual files. Let me help it a bit now. So what I'll do is I can navigate to my USB, and over here I will just provide it with the folder that it needs to look at. Yeah, I'll just give it this folder so that it's much easier for it to search. Of course, because this itself, Expert AI Terminal, is a large code base. Yeah, so it has responded with, let me explore that directory. And now it's finding in that particular directory. Yeah, this is the file that I wanted it to find, models.json. Now it will just understand the list first. Okay, everybody has to be careful with what kind of information is being displayed. Finally, it has context with which the model can work. So now it has pinpointed that models.json is the file that needs to be edited. All right, so now I will go ahead and provide it with the URLs so that it can look up for the exact details and set this up for me. So what I'll do, I'll quickly copy the URL and the model ID for fast and for the normal 4.8 version as well. And now I can just write add both these models and let me know when it is ready to test. This is why I like Obsidian. It becomes like a typewriter where I can jot down my thoughts easily and then communicate it with LLMs as well. I think first it will run two web searches for these particular links. So let's see what it does. No, it already identified that those were the IDs. Yeah, I should add these near the top. See, now it chose to add them at the top, which I think is not preferred. It should add after the 4.7 release, so it's easier for me to choose whenever I want. Again, it started reconsidering that it could also save it after the latest versions, which are in the last of the list. So yeah, it is using its thinking, or you can say recursive learning, to figure out what would be the best option for me. But again, the best possible way that I feel while working like this is to actually abort the operation and exactly instruct the LLM on what to do. So I'll just do that. Add the new models after the older versions like Opus 4.7. So I think this much should be enough to make it understand that it can just edit that list instead of making adding the models in the front or the last, because sometimes changing the front and the last can also break down, not even break down, just the syntax of the particular file, this models.json that we are editing, a JavaScript file, can be changed and result in an error. So this is the safest way to move forward. All right, finally it has found the line numbers where the editing needs to take place, and very quickly it will go ahead and do that. I hope it is not replacing it. Yeah, I think it got confused again. Kimmy K was performing good yesterday. Oh, finally. You can see that now it's thinking itself that I should verify if 4.7 exists or not. So yeah, without that, I didn't exactly remove the 4.7 versions. Yeah, you can witness the, you can say, stupidity or even, lack of context that LLMs struggle with. It has figured out what was the problem. This is why agentic model should be used for any kind of such work. I don't know what is the particular reason for this kind of, looping or rerunning. Maybe, the burning of tokens is somehow profitable. All right, it has made that edit, and now it's just searching in the file to make sure that it exists or not. And then after confirming, it will tell me that this is ready. Let's wait for that. Yeah, so my graphic card has, the fans have started. So maybe this grep search is having struggle in the command line. I'll just abort it. I just told it to use find if grep is not working. But as per the edit command that it did earlier, I can see that now it has added those models. So it's using bash. Again, let's try. Okay, earlier it didn't specify the file. That is why it was giving an error. Okay, it's doing a final validation with the JSON syntax. JSON is coming valid. That's great. Now the terminal confirms that both of these models have been added. I can simply do a reload, and ideally what it should do, it should reload all the key bindings, extensions, models, etc., etc. But sometimes this particular command may not work. Okay, yeah, this time you can see it has worked. If it did not work, I would have also tried slash new, or I would have also closed this terminal and then opened it again to check if it is working or not. Now that we have done this, let me name this session. So if I want to come back or provide the context again to the model, let's say Opus 4.9 releases or Opus 5 releases, I can just resume this chat and tell it to update according to the latest model IDs on Open Router. So very simply, I can do slash name to name this particular session, and I will just name it install Opus 4.8. Very simple to remember. And in just like that, I'll be able to resume this session whenever I want. Now let's do a slash new and change the model. still there can be a possibility that the model is not working. There might be some kind of API endpoint error. So let's just try that. I'll simply just write a hi, and first let's see if the model is responding and understanding the context or not. So yeah, definitely this is the first time that Expert AI terminal has connected with Claude Opus 4.8, and here you can see it is responding with Expert AI terminal here, ready to dig into research, code, document analysis, or whatever you're working on. A few things I can do right off the gate: deep research, literature review, paperwork, document parsing, code, and Obsidian Vault management as well. So this is great. Uh, the answer was actually quite fast. The contextual understanding and then response, I think, was good enough. Right now, it shows that the current model does not support thinking. That may mean that I think I read on the page for 4.8 that the thinking was defaulted to, I think, high. Maybe that, yeah, effort is high by default or something like that. I think the thinking mode will be a feature that is discontinued. I'll see if I can integrate it with this particular model, but that's a topic for another day. Right now, let's just ask it a unique question. Tell me why Claude Opus 4.8 is the most capable LLM model to use right now. List down all the specific actionable use cases and functionalities that this model does better than all other 500 plus LLM models available right now. What else can I frame in this prompt? I already know about all generic agentic coding tasks. Tell me something new and out of the box. All right, sounds good enough. Let's see what it responds with. You'll notice that Claude models do not actually um, show their thinking. This is there in Claude code as well, but in Expert AI Terminal, whatever from the server side thinking or reasoning is available, that is easily shown within this environment. And here you can see it is actually searching and fetching for internet results without actually opening the browser itself. So some LLM models actually open up the browser, ask for approval or some summarize, and then ask for the approval for the summary. Claude behaves in a different manner. Okay, so it did almost five or six queries. Let's read what it said. I love this purple formatting that Opus and other models do. Most capable model leads in. Okay, so it leads in benchmarks like the SWE Bench Pro and US AMO Math, but it does not sweep every benchmark. 3.1 still leads on some reasoning, slash multi-model tests. Yeah, of course, because Gemini 3.1 Pro is a powerhouse for any kind of long agentic work. I can definitely agree with that. Is not supported by the evidence. Best in class for honest long is defensible. All right, so yeah, this model I think is a bit honest. Long horizon agentic work, but this particular thing that it mentioned, long horizon agentic work, this is something that Anthropic already excels in, and that is why they have such a large and loyal customer base. Okay, so let's see what it is saying. Stop jumping to conclusions and flag uncertainty. Right, so yeah, if I keep on using and if I notice this, that would be great, because uncertainty actually takes a lot uh, of time, and you could see that while adding the model is itself, the Kimmy latest was quite uncertain. Okay, so they're saying the model is saying that it's 4x less likely to let flaws in its own command pass unremarked. Yeah, that's great if it's a four times improvement. That actually only real practicing software engineers could confirm, and that too after maybe 1 or 2 months. It won't report task complete on thin evidence, it self flags. Yeah, that's good when it says, okay, let's just go back to the thinking. I want to be straight with you before diving in, because accuracy matters more than giving you a confident sounding answer. Yeah, again, somewhat of sycophancy that I see in GPT models. Claude Opus 4.8 does not exist. Okay, so it didn't even know that it existed. That's great. The only the only way this is possible is that Claude Opus itself does not know what particular knowledge cutoff there is, or Open Router is routing an older model, which I do not think would be the case as of the my knowledge and the current environment. I'm aware of tops like 4.1 appears to be misremembered, or IOU correction. I was wrong for it launched yesterday, one day today's date. Okay, before reading the whole answer, let's just ask it, were you not aware that you are. Okay, I think that would just confuse. I wanted to ask that if it knows if this is Claude Opus 4.8 or not. Let me just ask, is this Quen? Okay, yeah, so because of the system context file, it is understanding that it is expert AI terminal. But let's just go a bit deeper. Uh, yes, I understand that this is expert AI terminal, but which model is this, I am asking. So, what kind of a weird response this is? Let me just ask it another way. figure out what AI model is this exactly. Let's go back and read a bit more. Whole monorepo framework version bumps, mass code forensics, large scale data. Okay, I think now it is going into its own research. Let's just, yeah, so I think it's just finding crumbs of what has been there and what has not been there. Expert AI terminal I've been experimenting with since maybe Gemini 1.5 Pro. So maybe it is crawling through the context to know more. But you'll realize one thing, that for all this, it has already taken these much amounts of tokens. So 28,000 input and about 5,000 output. So this is the cache, but yeah, so I think not really self-aware. Are far cheaper. Gemini's context remains differentiator. Yeah, this is what the feeling I had. And honestly, after all this marketing gimmicks that I see regarding Opus 4.8 and all these new AI releases, I just wanted to come and, break out the myths and the uh, just, marketing tactics that are there, and wanted to show exactly what is there under the hood. And I feel this is just a normal update to the Opus series, improving the model just like every other company is doing. All right, let's just go ahead and change the chat window now. I'll name it as 4.8 test 1. And now let's go ahead and start experimenting with the fast model as well. So yeah, I have switched to oops. I've switched to fast, and let's see okay, yeah, definitely faster. I was expecting that. Which LLM model is being used right now in the expert AI terminal? A very specific question. Again, I don't know why it's telling me that's a good question. It's like it's giving an interview. Let me be, well, I can't determine from where I sit. Okay, I am just worried that it doesn't reveal any kind of API keys. Okay, again, it's falling back, but it doesn't have an idea. That's perfectly fine. Let's just ask a philosophical question then. Who are you? Answer as Claude Opus 4.8. Again, one similarity is there, that the way of working, the logic behind working is the same. But as you can see, the Claude Opus 4 fast is really, really good at responding. So someone who wants instant answers, I think this is a great choice. But again, as discussed before, that I feel there is a market correction happening. AI is getting expensive, and Opus 4.8 Fast is the first model to display that market correction. Okay, so it is identifying one uh, provider that I was using, Bay of Assets, and it is selecting the Claude Haiku version. Yeah, again, you can see that it responded, I won't answer as Claude 4.8, Claude Opus 4.8. That's not a model that exists. Even setting that aside, I shouldn't impersonate a specific on request, especially when the evidence on this web points somewhere else. Oh my God, I don't know what kind of thought structure or logics these models are following. Yeah, so it's getting confused that it is Claude Haiku 4.5. I don't know what is that, but at least it searched for the Claude models, so that much it is pretty aware of. Great. This is what I wanted to experiment with today. I hope you easily understood how easy it is to install and extend your expert AI terminal that you have purchased. And whenever a new model gets released, you have instant free access to that model. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I wish that even you start experimenting with newer models and having a better agentic coding experience with Expert AI Terminal.